headed into their 2023-2024 football season. Today we have a special guest, Aldana. We got Dem Boys, Waja, TC, PJ, and E in the house. How's everybody?
Doing well out here, bro. Doing well out here.
Nice.
Glad you're back.
Love to hear it. Yeah, last week I was out sick. Thank you for all the well wishes, people that actually sent in some messages and sent some texts over IG saying, "Hey, where's E at? What's going on?" So thank you again. Thank you again for giving us some likes, some loves, some subscribing on Apple Podcasts. We met a lot of new people at the bars yesterday watching the game. It's really cool to do that. So yeah, let's jump in. So first, as we all saw last night, the Copa America. That was an amazing time. I'm going to let Aldana run away with that very soon. Huge Argentina fan here. Copa America was won by Argentina last night, 1-0. And that was a very interesting match to see. Messi got injured pretty early, came back in, messed up his ankle again. At the end of the game, it looked like a giant elephant foot. His ankle was just swollen. And the team was able to persevere and power on without him. They broke Colombia's 28-game win streak. And here we are today. Aldana, we'll start with you. How's it feel to be in the winning team again?
Oh man. I mean, we've had a good streak, you know what I mean? But we've also had so much loss. Like I know a lot of people talk and they all say that like todo regalado, like everything's like given to Argentina, whatever penalties, but you've had to have been there. Like I watched Argentina lose 2014 final, 2015 final, 2016 final to get here, you know? And I'm not taking it away. Like I've told everybody, I think Colombia deserved to win more than Argentina in the first half. They played way better, but we fixed everything in the break, and then we came back way strong in the second half. So they definitely deserve to win. I'm a huge fan of Colombia. I'm a huge fan of their players, but Colombia doesn't have what Argentina has. And I mean, like with a fan base, like an hinchada and player, they have great players, but they just don't have what we have. But I think because we've suffered so much. So you gotta suffer to win. I don't know, but it feels good. I'm not gonna lie, it feels pretty good.
That's the sound. That's the happiness of a winner right there.
It's hard. It's just hard being Argentinian, you know.
Which was to you the best part
Of the
of the
game.
whole match?
I don't want to say like the goal. I want to say, okay, so Di Maria is my favorite player ever, right? Like I have his number tattooed. I carry a photo of Di Maria in my wallet like 24/7. When he came off, it was bittersweet, but I think that was my favorite because there was a moment where he got emotional. You didn't really see this on the camera. You saw this afterwards in photos, but he got like very emotional, and you can see like when he came off the pitch, he was to see everybody like cheering him and being in the bar and hearing all Argentinians like screaming and cheering him and saying Fidel and all these things. It's like, you know, paying homage to a great player. I think that was my favorite part, you know, seeing it all come full circle to an end.
Yeah, that
Bittersweet.
hug with Messi and Di Maria was very bittersweet at the end. I mean, both legends off last Copa. Oh man, that was beautiful.
You could just cry thinking about it. But it's
Did you cry?
No, I didn't cry. I didn't cry. But he's done everything. Like there's nothing more that he could possibly give us. So what more can you ask of him? You know what I mean? He wants to end it. He ended it on the best possible like streak. You know what I mean? It's all up. He ended it as a champion, as he is. So you can't really ask more from him. And he'll still be around playing for his club, you know. So he'll be good.
Yeah, he re-signed with Benfica, yes?
Well, there were some rumors that he might go to Inter Miami, so I don't know. I mean, I saw that. Okay, on Argentinian channels, they say it's confirmed on Argentinian channels, but on mainstream channels and stuff like BR Football Complex, they haven't posted it, so it's hard to tell. But to me, if like Thais or Yarone posted, to me that means like it's official. So they said he's official to go. Benfica's gonna let him go, but we'll see. I don't know. I'd rather him be in Miami. I think we all would.
Same.
To see him a little bit.
Oh yeah, actually being able to see more like top footballers actually playing in the U.S. I mean, right now, after all of the entire European schedule has ended, now we still get MLS football going on right now. I can only imagine like Inter Miami was able to stay at the top while the break was going on. So now they're getting this infusion of all of their players to come back as well. It'll be really nice to see with MLS, but want to stay with the Copa a little bit longer. Tactically, what did you see with that match? Like Lautaro Martinez ended up getting the game-winning goal. James wasn't able to do it for Colombia. Diaz was not at his strongest self. That defense for Argentina is still amazing. Emi Martinez, amazing in goal again. What little tidbits do you have for us as a huge supporter of the squad? Something that you probably see more than we do.
Okay, so you'll see that. I just want to start off by saying I love Munoz. He's my favorite Colombian player. If he had been there for the last game, if he hadn't gotten a red card, he would have, I think, won the game for them. I think, or he would have tied it, and we would have gotten to penalty. He's an amazing player, and I feel like they really needed him because not only is he great, but he has like an alpha personality, and he can really lead. Like Munoz is a leader, and he started off as a fan for like his club, then began playing for his club, and then made it to like the national team. So he's really been there from the trenches. So I feel like he could have won it. Who knows? Next time. From Argentina side, the last 3 changes that Scaloni made were with Paredes, Lo Celso, and Martinez. And those were the 3 that made the goal. It went from Paredes to Lo Celso to Martinez. You know what I mean? Just to play them subbed in, which is crazy to think about. Did Scaloni see that coming? Probably not. It's just probably chances, But is it nice to think that like his mind as a coach was able to get him there? Maybe. I think a lot of South American countries have Argentinian coaches. Like Colombia's coach is from Argentina. I'm not going to say that's why they're good, but I'm just saying they're coaches from Argentina. But I think Argentinian coaches have very different ways of like building plays and training their players and whatnot. And I think for some countries it works and for others it doesn't. I think that we have, for a long time, we tried to make Messi the center of the team. And as soon as we let go of that idea and had everybody share equally like possession of the ball and give everybody an opportunity, we have defenders making goal. We have Lisandro Martinez making goal, Licha Martinez. And now when Molina, he made a goal in the World Cup. Like we have people who shouldn't be making goals, once we give up that. And I think a lot of other countries really do put a lot of emphasis on James, Richard Rios, and Licha. Like I feel like they were the stars the whole time. And that's great. You can have stars, but if you look at like, there was a point where PSG was full of stars and they still didn't win. I think sharing that responsibility for the ball is the best thing that we did. And I think it could translate well to all other teams, other countries, all other clubs everywhere in the world. It can't just be James. It can't just be Messi. And we made that goal without Messi. You know what I mean? He had nothing to do with the play. He had been off the field and we made that goal. He wasn't there for the Peru game and we made those goals.
Facts.
You can't put it all on one player, I think. Not on one.
That's such a good point too, because I think the minute that Messi went off, everybody, whether you were watching in the stadium or on TV or whatever, you're like, this is the chance for Colombia to, to bring it back. And just like you said, I mean, it was the subs that came off the bench to do a beautiful play. Jesus, that flick. I mean, Latura it was a beautiful goal. The whole link-up play was ridiculous. Yeah. So
when we made the first goal, obviously I was screaming, but it was really rough. It's hard. You can't from the care. It's like when you watch the replay, you're like.
So I think I feel that there's a lot of, I watched the game and I don't think it was all one way, to be fair. I think that it could have gone. There were chances for both teams. In all honesty, it was only 1-0. And I think that, in all honesty, Colombia played very well. Obviously, the first half was great tactically. They were very condensed. Good transition. They have speed at the top. What we did see is a bit of a shuffling, bit in the second half. I think Messi. I'm gonna put it out there and say, yeah, no, fair, absolutely. I think Messi leaving the field it was a tragedy, obviously. But that being said, and you hit the nail on the head, I don't think Argentina is a team stacked full of talent all across the team with able winners. The leading goal scorer of the tournament, obviously based on the fact that he scored in the final as well. I think it just shows that it's kind of building towards, if you look at their bench, there's youthful players within there through their spine of their back line. So I think looking forward, and it's, as you said, great service to Argentinian players. Great. And they did well. I think, in my opinion, it could have gone either way. I think when you get to extra time and everyone's on dead legs, if you're looking at the way people are running, at the defenders, at the way they were defending, it could have gone any and each way. There were chances for both sides. So kudos to Argentina. I hate Angel Di Maria only because of the things that he's done for me and against me. But I've always had my revenge. I think if who doesn't like a happy ending to a story, I think in that sense. But I feel a bit unlucky to Colombia. I think they played very beautiful football from the beginning. On this podcast, we were talking about it. Their football throughout the tournament, they can be proud of the way they played. I think they too don't have, they spread the ball around throughout their team. They don't have superstars to say as much as James thinks he's a superstar. I think that they just as well, when they substituted him, they actually played a lot better when they brought on his name. So I think looking forward, I think there's good continuity that you can start to see, especially in the Argentina squad. I think that's a really cool thing. I think the biggest drawback about this match, however, was not the football, and that seems to be the biggest highlights that seem to be coming out of this weekend was not the football, which I think is the biggest disappointment spot.
Definitely. Yeah, before we jump into everything that surrounded the Copa, especially how late it started, I just want to get a little bit of closing remarks just on football, just to continue where we're at. Anybody else have anything else? Talk about the team, talk about the squad. What do you expect from Argentina Scaloni moving forward, things like that?
Well, I just want to congratulate you, Aldana. We haven't talked, we're friends, and that was awesome. I'm so pumped for you. So that was great. I'm not even joking. Like, I'm a Messi fan, so I was kind of rooting for Argentina, but because of you, I was rooting a little bit more. So felicitaciones. That was awesome. They played a great game. They were solid defensively, didn't let up a goal in 120 minutes. I think Colombia they came out really hot the first 30, 40 minutes. They were the better team, but they faded out, man. They had some decent opportunities. They had 7 corner kicks and some set-piece opportunities, and the service just wasn't there. James was not putting it into the mixer, and they had that one shot early on. After that, they didn't really threaten Argentina too much, so a little disappointed. I don't know if it was because it was just so hot. You see the fans sweating. I don't know if that played a factor, but I think Colombia spoiled it, and Argentina just played overall solid. Felicitaciones again. That was a great game.
Thank you so much. Even if you're lying, I appreciate it.
A little bit. No.
Call him out. Stand on that business. That's what we do here. All right. Well, yeah, like we were, TC was alluding to, everything that was surrounding Copa. Some of the craziest scenes that I've seen, especially within American sports, American infrastructure surrounding their sports stadiums. One of the craziest things I could ever really figure out about was an American sporting match was delayed 75 minutes.
Yeah.
Hard Rock Stadium was not properly staffed by police. It was not properly staffed to have people actually scanning in tickets. You had people that weren't actually in their seats. We saw some scenes of police actually going into the stadium, full regalia and all, guns and all, going chair by chair, asking people, are they supposed to be in that seat? 7,000 people got into the stadium without tickets. That's the number that they're telling us right now. And we also saw the scenes of what was going on. Yeah, it's fucking insane. We also have the scenes of people crawling in through vents. We have the
Vents, bro.
Yeah. I know.
At the final.
Even with the final, you got to have a little bit of decorum. You got to show out and show better for your country. I mean, that was just a little bit too much. I don't get who thought, either Miami's police department, the mayor of Miami, Combo in general, they didn't think that this match was going to elicit this much energy, this much flavor, this much heat, especially with it being so hot. And you had Shakira perform. Remember, the second half of the match didn't start for 25 minutes afterwards as well, because everybody was so worn out because of everything that was going on. Aldana, I'll shift it over to you. We were talking a little bit earlier, but how do you feel this has given us the precedent before the World Cup comes to the U.S. in 2 years? Like, do you feel good about it? Do you feel there's a lot of work to be done, not just within Miami, but within the entire Copa America tournament we saw within the United States? Like, give us your thoughts on that.
I know I was mentioning this before, and I think that this is like a unanimous opinion, but we all feel as though the U.S. is not prepared to host a World Cup, especially after Qatar and having things be so great over there. Like the attention to detail, all the effort they put in, all the money that was put into it. Soccer's not big enough in the US. Obviously, this is FIFA coming in, so they're going to be bringing in the money. But if they weren't, if CONMEBOL wasn't even willing to fix things in the stadiums for Copa America, I feel like that just shows us that there's not that much hope for the World Cup. I do think that maybe like the presidents of a lot of countries will come in and say some stuff. they'll definitely say like, hey, my team is not going to play on this grass, and my team is not going to play somewhere where there's not security. So if you're not willing to prove these things, then like Argentina's not coming, and then you have no Argentina, you know. So I do think that there's going to be some discussion between the presidents of like, the different teams and countries and FIFA and whatnot. So I expect some changes. Is the grass going to be like different? Is all the turf going to be fixed? No. But will there be like more security? Yeah, I think will ticket scanning be more proper? Yeah, some changes. But are people still going to be able to like sneak in? Is it going to be a mess? Yes. Like it is going to be a mess. And that's okay because we're all local and we all get to see it in the final.
Let's go.
No, I disagree. I disagree. Yeah, I look. I think you're correct. I think look, anyone who's been to a festival have had to do any of that kind of shady stuff, jumped in like that kind of thing to get into something. It was messy fever to final. I get that. That's definitely an organizing committee. But you know, before the World Cup, you have something. You've got the Confed Cup the year before, which is a trial run. America's held the wasn't 94. It was 94 in America as well.
Yeah.
Look, I think all you saw was just an explosion of and maybe unpreparedness. Is this something that they can learn from? Absolutely. Is it something they'll get right by the World Cup? They will have to. It's not even a question. FIFA are very strict about these kind of things. Is Argentina not going to come to the next World Cup? Hell no. Of course they are. No one is not going to come to the World Cup. There's no ways you're not going to come and defend your World Cup, number one. Number two, it's hard enough to get in there, although it's an expanded format. I do want to say, and you can look at different reasons as who to lay blame, et cetera, and I think they'll be done retrospectively. I think what you have to do from this kind of thing is just look at the lessons learned, taking them going forward. And that's all we will do, is that there'll be lessons learned, and you'll see them in Confed. You might even see them implemented in MLS games, in cup finals, and that's moving forward. And I think we have to give benefit of the doubt. If anyone who's been, and I was at the Confed Cup and part of the not the organizing committee, but I was part of a couple of matches as part of the team on the ground. FIFA don't play, my friend. FIFA don't play. And if South Africa can get ready for a World Cup, South Africa, with all that corruption and all, I'm telling you now, and actually Brazil and South Africa, if they can get World Cups, and yes, Qatar was amazing, and I think it will be hard to top that, but it's only going to get better. I think I'm glad it happened now, and it didn't happen at the World Cup. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, FIFA has to answer to governmental bodies within America, Canada, and Mexico in 2026. And if Miami can't get their shit together, then I think that was definitely a precursor and a bit of a warning shot to what it could look like. So, you know, the three countries better get their shit together. But at the end of the day, who knows? I mean, it's a tri-national World Cup. And Miami was what happens if you have Messi fever with two amazing teams. And that was just, you know how many rivalries we're going to have in the World Cup? Even with the extended number of teams, oh my God, it's going to be a shit show. And I can't wait for it. It's going to be chaos. It's going to be delays left and right. Hopefully not too many heat waves. But, you know, it's just going to be, I think it should be better. They should be prepared. Like TC said, we're going to have the Confed to prepare for it. But at the end of the day, it's going to be a shit show. Let's be real.
No, why you
saying that? Why? You know why Qatar was good at keeping it all together? Because Qatar is Qatar, my friends.
Why do you say? But why?
It's a shit show in the best way possible because it's America, baby. This is what we do. I think it's going to be a great shit show.
Okay, can you give me an example of the last few sporting events that America has held? Right. Let's look at the last decade. Just humor me here. The last decade, what are some of the sporting events that other than your Super Bowls and stuff like that? Let's talk about international events.
International events is nothing bigger than the World Cup.
I'll bring up.
Hold on.
I'll bring up
F1. F1 was a shit show.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm talking in both Miami and in Vegas. So I'll keep that.
Okay, one of them. Okay, but before that, there was a couple of other incidences in Austin where they were great F1s, for instance. So then there was the 1996. Anyway, all I'm trying to say is I believe that, yeah, it was a shit game, but I'm not trying to defend anyone because the way shit happened is disgusting. But I don't believe that we can't get it right for the World Cup. Number one, and I'll give you two reasons why I believe so. Because you have a local organizing committee, and you're saying they're going to be answering to government. Well, not really, to be funny, because that's why there's all this money that goes into this shit, because the local organizing committee obviously has a directive from FIFA is going to come and implement. They've got key milestones that they have to attain, pitches, et cetera, by this stage. And so we're going to see a build-up towards that in order to avoid having a shit show for the big showpiece. Because, FIFA does not want a shit show, and they can't afford to do that with all that money being spent, all the sponsors being involved. So that's just my take on it. I think let's see how we do, especially the next MLS few games. Let's see how those are done as well. I think we'll see a change in amount of security at those kind of things as well, which will demonstrate the change in the football kind of hierarchy minds as well.
I bet you'd be much safer in Canada. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, Canada's got their shit together.
I think the same game.
For Mexico. Be safer in Mexico too.
Well, I'm trying to go to the Mexico game. I'm trying to go to Monterrey. So,
Beautiful
city.
Looking for some sponsors.
Love to be sent over.
Start saving up.
Dem Boys from there. We'd love to do it on cast right there.
Sure. Yeah. Any other thoughts before we wrap this up to move over to the Euros?
I do want to say this, and please tell me if I'm wrong. I saw something in my deep dive this morning about, and I don't speak much Spanish, but I don't know if you saw some of the songs that were being sung on the bus by some of the Argentinian players. Did anyone see any of that chit chat of that?
Like what?
No.
We're always singing.
I was trying. I know. Very true.
People, man.
And that's why I was trying to find the source of it, because I was trying to make sure it wasn't horse crap, because it was Paredes. He was singing and he'd sent this translation, and it was quite derogatory, and the whole article was about this, and I was like, I hope it's not bullshit like that, because you want to taint that kind of thing. But I was just checking if anyone else had picked it up on any of their other news feeds or checked it out or heard anything about it, because I thought it was just maybe bullshit.
I didn't hear anything about that. The only other thing that I heard about that we talked about a little bit earlier was
got arrested.
They were really pissed at the officials, and so we just saw a little bit of that saison, a little bit of that passion kind of spill over, and it was a hot night, so people were just on edge with everything that was going on. So I think the consensus from the group is we believe the U.S. does have what it takes to actually put it together, but right now it is looking a little bleak for some of the things that are going on with the infrastructure going into the World Cup upcoming. So yeah, with that, want to thank everybody again for giving us a listen to Dem Boys Watch Footy. We are always on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, wherever you want to listen to us. Give us a like and subscribe, and we do actually talk back. We try to, whenever you send us comments on Spotify or on YouTube, we always make sure to get back. So we'd love to be a little bit more interactive with our listeners as well. So yeah, want to switch gears over to the European Championships. We were just spoiled with good international footy this year. Another amazing match to see. TC and Waj, we were able to watch that match together. England lost to Spain. Spain took it in the last 5 minutes of the match, 2-1 to be crowned champions of Europe. We got to see the burgeoning amazingness of a 16-year-old kid and a 22-year-old immigrants going into Spain. Yamal is from Equatorial New Guinea, I want to say, and then as well, Nico Williams, him and his brother Inaki made the trek from Ghana. And so, got to say, the colonialism for Spain actually went out.
It's working out.
Yeah, that was the first time.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think that was the first time that we actually saw Spain kind of dip into their talent pool like that. They carried them the entire tournament. They were the only team to win all of their matches in the Euros this year, 7 for 7. So, yeah, how good was this Spain team, and how bad was this English team to not be able to win, losing in their second straight final? Leave it up to the team.
You go first, man.
Yeah, Spain was. I think I forgot who it was, but one of you guys I think predicted Spain to make it here. It might have been TC. So he was extremely right about that. But he was extremely wrong about England getting grouped.
Yeah.
So we'll give him like a 50-50. he's not here right now, so we were both wrong. I thought the U.S. was going to go far. They didn't. He thought England was going to. I mean, England, I still think exceeded expectations for most people. I don't think people thought England was going to get grouped, but maybe a round of 16 quarterfinals. But this Spanish team is good, and they have young players. And I mean, they got through a tough bracket too. They were able to take down the hosts, Germany. They were able to take down France, who might have been the favorite, and then England, who is one of top 2 or 3 most talented teams in the world. So they dominated that game too. You know, they had 66% possession, more shots on goal. They deserved to win that game. So now I kind of wanted England just because they're just so bad, but they couldn't get it together. And Spain, they're going to be a real threat in 2026.
For sure.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe their coach. He's coached the U18s, the U20s, and now the actual senior team, and he's won the European Championship with all 3 now. That's an amazing, just like through line. He's been able to build up the infrastructure, and he's been able to see these players from their birth, their maturation, and now he's continuing that success on the international stage. So it's amazing to see. Waj, I know you had some thoughts.
Man, how many thoughts do I not have? Look, I think it was a great cup in comparison to the Copa. It was boring. It's not on business, right? It was boring, right?
Yeah, and usually love the Euros way more than Copa America. Way. It's the
It's more quality teams.
That's it. But
yeah, I was waiting for the Euros to spice up, but no, I mean it's Europe, right? So of course Copa had more spice, obviously. But no, I think when we came down to the final match, I mean, yes, everyone just looking on paper, Spain was the better team. And everyone thought, myself included, that England would kick it into 5th gear by the final match. You know, Kane has been lackluster the whole tournament, and even the pure idea, even myself included, I had the audacity to think, oh no, Kane's gonna pull it together and score at least one. Man had less than 5 touches. So, but with that amount of quality on an England team, with Gareth Southgate training these guys for so many years, I think it was a massive disappointment. I was really hoping, you know, against the odds that England would take it. But Spain was more prepared. They were the better team. They're even lower ranked than England right now, which I thought was amazing. But they had that dog in them, and I think England just were very from the get go. I mean, fans, again, myself included, were like, it's coming home. They're gonna do it this year. And every single time we say that, every single time England proves to you that you are incorrect. It is staying wherever the hell it is, and it's a shame because, you know, now we're going to see a whole gaggle of players now leave. Well, not leave, but they will obviously go lower in the rankings in terms of their pecking order for the international for 2026 and even for the Euros in 2028. So, I mean, this was Kane's last hurrah. Let's be real. I mean, he's not going to get any better than this. He's not going to pull a Messi. You know, this was his last chance, and it was disappointing. But I think it also showed that again, Spain has a young, rabid team of just like this that are coming up. England does too, but they couldn't pull it off at the end of the day. And the Spanish could, because they knew how to play the game, and England was too scared because they think that they were entitled to it, unfortunately.
Entitled. That's a strong one. I mean, Harry Kane was missing. Phil Foden, the Premier League Player of the Year, completely missing. Aldana, I know Man City is your squad, but your boy was completely missing this entire game.
Yeah, it was so weird seeing him play in comparison to how he is at City, because he's just a star. But it's like the dynamic. It's the I mean, in Argentina, and I think this is something like that's more prevalent in South American teams. Obviously, there's going to be some camaraderie, right, between teammates. But I feel like with South American clubs, like in Argentina, everyone is like a family. Like your kids go to school together. You guys all know each other. You're doing asados on the weekend. I feel like Brazil is like that. Colombia is like that. They're all friends. They all hang out. They all hang out with like pop stars in Colombia. I don't feel like England's like that. Like I don't feel like a lot of European teams are like that. There's not that.
Good point.
Like they're not. They're all like, what is 16-year-old like?
Well,
is gonna do with like.
Yamal and Nico Williams are doing TikToks together in their room, so I know that they're close.
Yeah.
Absolutely together.
I mean, that's probably the biggest camaraderie, like you're saying. Like, that's a really good
Go on TikTok. Make a TikTok.
Hey, these like she was saying, like I don't really see some of these players actually talking to each other outside of the few times that they go to the national team training together. Other than that, they're probably just not like really hanging because it's more club based. You have your club, you stay in your spots. Like London is about a 2-hour drive away from Manchester. I don't think I'm going up to Manchester anytime soon if I'm based in London. So
No, man, why would you go up there? It's cold.
exactly, I wouldn't want that life put on me or on anybody. Even though I'm hearing great things about Manchester now. So
I mean, with all the football is now done, right? Like England is gonna, England to go back. They're gonna lick their wounds. How do we all feel at the end of the day? Are we ready to go back to regular season and just have our transfers done, or do we want a little bit more? Just a little bit more.
I can't. I mean, switching gears from international to MLS is going to be something. I'm a huge.
Gotta watch it in Miami games. Hopefully they can dig at Maria so we have something to watch.
Yeah, Brooklyn FC stuff,
I just want to come back to that, the England. And, on this podcast, we spoke about where they would go. And I said nowhere. And they didn't, but they did, but they didn't. However, I do think that, and some of those players have got to go. Kyle Walker, Harry Kane, there's definitely a beautiful undercurrent of youth coming through that team that I'd love to see a real manager to take apart, play with. England have notoriously over the years had a golden generation. They've always had talented players. And I think you hit the nail on the head. They've never really been able to gel. Now, why is that?
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned some of the other countries, but they all play in Europe or for top clubs, all these players. So why is it that those players some of your players live in Europe, and Argentina and Brazil players, they're so far away from home, yet they have this camaraderie, this team ethic through, like you were saying. But England, live in England, play in England, with all these players, Beckham generation, the Paul Scholes, they had all of them. They've had the best factory of players. They're never able to gel. But they're never able to gel. Now, you got me thinking about something. I know that the Argentinian players, for instance, in Manchester, which is 4 hours away from London, that boy, they get together from City and from United and have barbecues and braais and, for instance, because they want that culture and stuff around them. So do the Brazilian players. Doesn't matter. All the Brazilian players around the area, they get together. Doesn't matter, So there's that. The English players don't do that. Even within teams, you might have, Luke Shaw and Rasmus or here, Saka and this dude, Saka and Luke Shaw, I know are great friends, and Declan, their little trio of little mates. Other than that, you never see too much outside of that. That being said, I think it's also the manager. And let's just say it, Gareth Southgate has got to go. And I mean, like, with a capital penicillin, he's got to go. He's Arteta out, okay? That is who he is. He is right now. He is everything that I think they've tried and tested him. And I think, Wajid said something funny, which I don't believe, and not to call on you, Wajid, you can please have a rebuttal. But you said it was Harry Kane's last chance. Well, Harry Kane plays for like a team that supposedly had won the league for 12 years in a row before he got there. So he's guaranteed to win a trophy eventually. What is just unfathomable, and I'll end this point and I'll hand over to you on this last point. What is unfathomable is that Harry Kane does not have a trophy. That is what is unfathomable. He is so full of talent. And don't lie, any one of you teams would take Harry Kane as a striker from his last 2 years' form. He has not had one trophy. He's the Drake of football. Do not get him in your team, clearly. And I'll end on that note with that sense. Unlucky, but I did call Spain the team to the ones to beat. So I'll take that. I'll take that as he told someone who. Oh, I am. I'm telling you. I told you so. Yeah.
Yeah. DJ's already called you out and said you didn't.
Can't even while you were gone.
Technically.
Yeah. I mean, you guys brought up some good points there that this England national team has always played in England, whereas, for example, the Argentinian national team, they might have a few players in the Argentinian league, but they have players in Spain, they have players in England. Right now, 22 out of their 24 players are playing in the EPL minus Bellingham and Kane. So theoretically, they should have camaraderie, but maybe they're not making enough TikToks. I don't know what it is, but they still sort of exceeded expectations. I don't know what it is about England. Spain won, and we're still talking about England. I think people like to see England suffer. I don't know what it is, but Spain won decisively, and here we are talking about England, right?
Okay, just on that last note, PJ, I know why. And I saw an article that really got me going, or someone sent it to me. The reason England will not win is because in the year 1500 or whatever it is, they raided Benin and they stole their artifacts. Some of those artifacts are sitting now in England and they're refusing to give them back. And this article was talking about how the only way that they will never win until they return those artifacts, they are giving them the juju. They're telling them it's bad luck. It's saying you are not winning any trophies until they're going back. Send all that shit back
to Africa. You must send the things back to the kingdom.
Send
then
the
you get your
back.
trophy.
Then you get your own trophy. That's what the whole lady was saying. And you know what? I thought it was a joke at first, but now I'm starting to believe it. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean?
There's a lot of black magic up in those museums. You know, there's a lot of
colonizers getting the colonizers.
Harry Kane to bring them back. They need him to hand them back.
That's right.
Please.
That will
deliver these trophies.
They'll have to do something.
Yeah.
He's like, I know you know who I am.
Yeah.
I brought them back.
Watch them win the treble. What?
You know what I mean? Go off the rails, guys. Any other thoughts about the Euro final? Anything with England, Spain? Like, what are we seeing?
Yes, I would like to ask everyone here from the Euros, and maybe we should do it for the Copas as well. Just who were your top 3 players that you noticed throughout the competition, regardless of where they were? But who were the 3 players that stood out to you? Doesn't matter if they're the top. Who were the 3 players, or maybe 2 that stood out to you? One for me, obviously, I'll go as Lamine Yamal, obviously, and then another kid was Kobe Mino, just demonstrating his love in the midfield there, and then someone else I just think is just like played one match since February, but was like the best left back of the whole tournament. The guy called Luke Shaw. I mean, really, just blew things away. Over to you, Eric. Who are your top 3 players?
Definitely Lamine Yamal. That man was quite amazing. I would have to go with the goalie for Georgia. I can't even say his name.
Try.
I am not going to try that one.
That's his name. Go ahead.
Like that name is tough, but he was pretty tops. And Arda Tural playing for Turkey. That kid,
very cool.
He was really good. If we're just talking about the Euros, if you're talking about Copa, I will probably have to go with Lautaro Martinez. That man came off the bench, scored in just about every match.
Yeah.
It was really great to see James Rodriguez like actually be pretty amazing. And I will say the Canadian squad, I had no idea they were going to make the semifinals, even though they had pretty easy. I'll just give the entire team. Alphonso Davies didn't really play that well, but the whole squad got there.
The new coach too. Yeah.
Jesse March doing some things. Great suggestions there, E.
Yeah, Aldana.
I think in the Euros, I don't know if this is who you just named from Turkey. I don't remember his name. I think he's 19. I think that's his number, and he's like blonde with the short hair.
Arda Güler.
Yeah.
Is that him? Yeah. Dude, he was impressive. I remember watching him, and immediately I had to Google like who he was and what club he played for. Like I was just watching it, being so impressed. Like, wow, this kid's like really gonna go somewhere. He should be expected some transfers. Obviously, Lamine Yamal, but Cucurella from Spain. Man, I don't know if you guys saw like the little song that came out of him. There's like some influencer in Spain that made a little song. It's like cucurella, como una paella, cucurella, se toma una estrella. And then at one part it says like Haaland trembla cuando vea cucurella, like Haaland shakes when he sees cucurella, which is so funny because Cucurella's like not really like a big player, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
People were upset about him coming on, but man, he had some amazing saves. He had some ridiculous moments. There was a moment where him and Saka were facing off and he like threw himself to the ground. But he had some amazing saves, especially coming from someone who like, yes, he's like a little kind of goofy, but he was not expected to perform that well, and he did really, really well. Honestly, he had some great saves done. In Copa, Munoz from Colombia, he did. I mean, he's already really great. He did way better than I do. I wanted to so badly say like Darwin Nunez or Valverde, but they felt really good. They really did. There were some moments where I felt really like proud of them, especially like playing against Brazil They had their moments, but towards the end, and then with their next game, yeah, they fell short. So I guess I'll have to go with some Argentinian players. Yeah, Lautaro Martinez. Obviously he was like the star for us this round. And I guess honestly, Dibu. Dibu, I know he's like already good. It's like a given. Like Dibu's great. He's number one. He's the best goalie ever. He had some like good saves.
Who?
This time
No,
around.
who?
Wait, you're gonna tell me something, Tease? You're gonna tell me you don't like Dibu? You're gonna tell me you don't like Di Maria? You don't like,
He's a hater. It's okay.
like
Name 5 people who
Tennessee
like
hater.
him. Name 5 people who like him. Name 5. Name 5 people who like him.
We're gonna.
likes him. Everyone but you likes him, and I don't know why.
He's a crotch grabbing, he's a dick.
No,
Yes, but that's what makes him likable. You know what I mean? Like that's what makes him likable. People like Maradona because he was a dick. Like people like that. People want. Think of it like there's so many things. Like when Brazil plays, like people like a player that like dances and has celebrations and does things. It has nothing to do with like football, but it's your personality that makes you. It's your personality. And I think that's also a reason why like a lot of players receive a lot of backlash. Like Ronaldo, I feel like anything he does, people shit on him, and it's because he's such a monotone person. Like your personality says a lot, And we have it, and England doesn't. So I don't know. And we won, and they didn't. So personality goes a long way.
Yeah,
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess it ends on me. Emi Martinez, first off, just again, it was phenomenal. He's just what Emi Martinez has been able to do for Argentinian team, being that last line of defense, has been absolutely amazing. And of course, as a former Arsenal player, I gotta show him that one love. So Emi for sure. Lamine Yamal, obviously, it's a no-brainer. And honestly, and I don't usually do this, so please, viewers, listeners, don't take this as a rule of thumb. But I'm going to agree with TC and say Kobe Mainu. He just, for the whole English squad, and I'm not even talking about my boy, star boy Saka. And Saka is amazing, but Kobe Mainu was a beast. And seeing as that is this the first Euro, and just the way he came out and he played, just complete energy, just again got that dog in him. He was an amazing, just absolutely amazing performance. So unfortunately, I don't like the fact that I have to play against him next season when we all go back to our clubs. Again, let's keep the club stuff until August, but so let me give him his flowers now and say he did absolutely amazing. Good on to Kobe.
PJ, end us up.
Just think the meme that I keep seeing on Instagram where it's like watching the Euros, it's like two guys like sipping tea, huge brawl in a knife fight, and every game was just so interesting and so physical, and the Euros so high level, but it was a little bit boring. But I want to just shout out James Rodriguez for winning. I mean, they didn't win, but he won player of the tournament, and he doesn't even start for his club team in Brazil. So that's pretty impressive for him to get that. And his club career, we thought it would kind of launch and completely take off after the 2014 World Cup. It kind of had its ups and downs for him. I don't think a lot of us thought he'd still be performing at a high level 10 years after the Brazil World Cup. So I want to shout out to him.
All right. That's a great question, TC. Thanks for getting that one in. I want to finish us off on a combined 11. And I'm going to go through asking each one of you which player from which team, and we're going to make a nice amalgamation. It's really good for content, people. All right. Waja, I'll start with you. Goalie, Emi Martinez or Simone from Spain?
Martinez.
All right. PJ, are we going Montiel at right back or Carvajal at Spain?
Man, that's a hard one. Carvajal's just been such a staple for Spain for so long, It's kind of hard to go against that. Might give him the advantage.
TC, I'm giving you two for the center back pairing. Romero and Martinez versus Lenormand and Laporte.
Oh, don't know how you can go against the Butcher when there's a fact that whenever he's been on the pitch, no goals have been scored. The whole tournament. I mean, the Butcher is the reason they call him. I don't know if you saw him. He is the Butcher. He is the Butcher.
What are you going with? So you go with the Butcher. Gotcha.
Did I not make it clear?
I think you're good. Aldana, we're going your boy Cucurella or Tagliafico.
Gonna go against your own team or?
No, I'm gonna stick with some longevity. Tagliafico.
Okay. All right. PJ, going Angel Di Maria versus Nico Williams.
How am I gonna go against Di Maria, man? I don't want to. I don't want to. I mean, he's right now or team of the tournament. I'm gonna go with Di Maria just because he's such a legend.
Okay. That's a new one for me. Waj.
I gotta go for Argentina on this one.
Okay. Waj, we're going midfield pairing. So we have DePaul and Enzo Fernandez from Argentina, Rodri and Fabian Ruiz from Spain.
Oh man. Well, I mean, obviously Rodri. Facts.
Okay.
Facts.
Yeah.
But, I mean, DePaul is a beast, man. That's unfair.
No, the Paul is bad. He's so bad.
And Enzo?
You don't like him?
Enzo?
I mean, Enzo.
Enzo's good, but the Paul.
I would take Enzo. And would say, I mean, Enzo's the Argentinian, but I would take Enzo and
the Paul.
yeah.
Okay. Interesting. I would have taken Ruiz and Rodri, but
Just like Rodri and Enzo something.
okay, cool. TC, we are going to do Danny Olmo and
Danny Olmo.
He was a beast.
Danny Olmo.
Alexis.
Danny Olmo. Dude,
Yeah.
Danny Olmo single-handedly changed that Spain team. They took him. Every time they brought that kid on, I was like, shit, he scored.
Julian Alvarez.
No, I don't know. He's from my
And then
club in Argentina too. I've been watching that kid a long time. He's from River Plate,
Yeah, both are shit.
Then obviously
but he won the treble.
Oh,
The World Cup.
yeah, that's true. And then for everybody, it's going to be Jamal and Messi.
Wait, what did you say was the last part? Messi or who?
This one is Messi and just the tournament, just the tournaments that they played. And this question is for all of you.
For
Okay.
these two
What was
tournaments,
it?
the Euro and the Copa, or like
Go, Washer, go first.
Lamine Yamal or
Lamine Yamal or Messi?
Yeah,
from the tournaments
Oh.
that you just watched.
yeah.
First off, I watched more of Lamine Yamal than I did of Messi, but for me, it was Lamine. I mean,
Got to be. Yeah.
I mean, just it was phenomenal. The child changed everything. Messi was is obviously a legend, a goat, but his team could have done it without.
I think so. Yeah, I mean, was it? You said Lamal or Messi?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, Messi's literally more than twice his age, which is
He held it as
pretty
a baby.
insane. I mean, it's impossible. I mean, Messi has been playing well in qualifiers, but he didn't really do too much. I think he only had one goal in the whole tournament, so I probably have to go just based off this tournament alone against Messi on this, because he didn't really have an impact on the final either. So I'd have to go with the ball. I don't want to say it, but yeah. I mean, Messi didn't have a great tournament. I'm saying it, but it's true. It's true.
I'll say this.
Can anyone argue with that? Can anyone argue
I'll
with
say
that?
this. I'll say this to the point, though. What people misunderstand is that someone like Messi, he brings something to the team that is incomprehensible, regardless of maybe it's play on the team. It's the fact that sometimes that you're going into battle with with Superman, that you're able to do the things that you can do. I can promise you that. So even the fact that he's there, like it happened, you saw with Ronaldo when they're injured. That's the thing. It's not their football influence anymore. It's their cognitive influence on the team. That being said, this is a purely footballing question. How can you not give it to a 16-year-old kid who was doing homework, scoring goals, texting girls, he's insulting people, making TikToks on the side? Bruv, are you serious? And then scoring goals for fun, right? And then getting a trophy, and then still having to go back and he has a project due for next week. Are you mad? Come on, bro. Gotta give it to the kid. This guy is freaking. I can't. Okay, let me put the last word on this kid. I'm in a group of people. Before this group, I said to people, like, there's a couple of people you've seen, and I watched the games of Barcelona, and I was like, oh, this kid's great. Like, Ansu Fati is, like, playing at Brighton, because ain't nobody care about you anymore. This kid is going to make Mbappe's salary look like a piece of dwarf nothing in 5 years' time. He is going to be so, if he consistently stays on the same path. He is that good.
Injury-free,
I love Messi.
yeah.
Messi is a god. He's one of 4 footballing gods out in the world there. Obviously, Maradona, Pele, and Ronaldo. He's one of, but I've got to give it to the kid.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I'm gonna pick Messi. I'm not gonna say. I think Lamin's incredible, but I will say, I don't know. I mean, it's too early to tell. Who knows? But I don't think Lamine will be at Messi's level at Messi's age. I don't think he'll be there. at his age.
That's a strong statement. That's a strong way.
I guess we'll see. Well, let's do this again in what, 20 years?
And so, yeah, I want to close us off. Thank everybody again for giving us a listen to Dem Boys Watch Footy. Please let us know in the comments what your starting 11 were from the tournament. And yeah, have a great time. Thank you all again.
Deuces.